Okay, hello, everybody. Gonna take a page out of my wife's book here in video making. Yeah, we are raising our vibration. And today in this talk, we are talking about raising our emotional vibration, our energetic vibration, going on a journey from shame to love and beyond, looking at the spiritual journey of the real human being. And when it comes to human beings, human consciousness, human emotions, we are stuck. Usually, we're stuck at lower vibratory levels. We're stuck down at the level of shame, of fear, of anger. And these are not positive emotional states. These are emotional states that have an energetic quality that can really weaken us and make us sick, make us unhealthy, give us unhealthy attitudes about the world around us, the world of spirit, our relationship with God, the universe, and one another. And the thing is that according to this scale that was put together by Dr. David R. Hawkins in his book, Power versus Force, this scale, a lot of people don't even know it exists, but more people are stuck at the low end of the scale, which is around anywhere from 20 to 200, and never reach the highest level of the scale, which kicks in around 200 to 1,000. Most people are modulating throughout their day-to-day lives at about 200 or lower. Very few people go over the 200 plateau. And that means that whatever we're talking about in the world around us, whether we're talking about the evils that we see in organized religion, or the evils that we see in organized politics, which some people say is synonymous with organized crime, by the way, or evils in banking or financial sectors or real estate or business or what have you. The reason that we see those evils in the world around us is because of the lowness of our human consciousness. It's because of the fact that we're vibrating at those lower frequencies. Most people are vibrating, at the frequency of shame or fear or hatred, anger, or pride, and they never really break much beyond those lower frequencies. And the thing is that the church, religions, political organizations, they're all made up of people. They're all made up of flawed people that are vibrating at these lower frequencies. So you take that into consideration, it is no wonder we see so much pain, suffering, and evil in the world. It's because we got a bunch of people in the world that are operating from a very flawed, low level of consciousness. And the challenge that we have, and this is the good news. The bad news is that the average person is modulating at a very low frequency of emotion and vibration. And thus, everything that they see in the world tends to be bad. But the good news is we can raise our vibration. And how can we do that? We can raise our vibration, raise our spiritual energy by making a conscious decision that I'm going to shift my emotion from a low point to a high point. And a lot of people, they don't know that they have the power to do this. It really is kind of funny. For the longest time, I didn't know that I had the power to change my emotions. Whenever I felt mad, whenever I felt angry, it was always somebody else's fault. And then I came to the realization that I can be the captain of my own soul, the master of my own ship, the master of my own destiny. And I can choose to be angry or I can choose to be happy. And it is a choice that each and every one of us can make. But when we choose to stay stuck in these lower fields of emotional states of being and consciousness, we're making a choice to keep ourselves trapped in a very unhealthy place. And by raising our vibration, changing our emotion, we can take ourselves from a bad place to a much better place just by changing our mind, changing our outlook. Wayne Dyer once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. He also gave a wonderful presentation on the Hawkins scale of consciousness, one that I've kind of worked with it. I've changed it around a little bit, but it's essentially the same presentation that Wayne Dyer gave in another video. But when we look at the scale of consciousness and these emotional states, we can very easily see that how we can change the world around us just by changing the way we look at it. So what I'm going to get into, this is going to be two parts here. First part is we're going to look at the lower levels that most people get stuck at. The lower levels from, 20 to 175 and sometimes up to 200. And when we're talking about levels 20 to 175, we're talking about negative soul-sucking levels of consciousness. Low levels of consciousness that really allow us to contribute nothing except anger, hate, negativity to the world, and just turn us more into psychic vampires than people committing positive energy into the world around us. And this is the challenge, that when we see ourselves at these lower states of consciousness, the challenge is to try to challenge ourselves to reach for the higher states and break out of these negative lower emotional states, start going for the higher emotional states and raising our spiritual vibration by changing our emotions. And I mean, it sounds easy when you say it like that. It's a little more complicated when you put it into actual practice. But I'll also be sharing a little bit about how to do that too. How to shift your emotion from the lower to the higher, better emotions. And the first stage that we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about this as the religion of barbarians, for folks that like to look at things through a religious lens, or for folks that want to be more broad, more inclusive, we'll talk about the mindset of the barbarians. Because this mindset, these sets of mindsets here, based in these negative emotions, can be seen in organized religion, organized politics, organized crime, organized business, any human organization. And the first level on this scale is the level of 20 hertz, the vibration of 20 hertz, and this is the level of shame. And this is the human emotion of humiliation. And this is the life view, according to Wayne Dyer, who did a study of the Hawkins scale of consciousness. The life view here is the life view of misery. Life is shameful. I am shameful. Life is humiliation. And life is just miserable. The God view from this level of consciousness is that God is despising. I am weak. I am sinful. I am shameful. God is disgusted with me. It's just bad news all the way around. And this is the lowest point of human emotion. The only way you can go any lower than shame is death. Death is the absolute lowest spiritual state, and shame is just one step up higher, 20 hertz. The emotion of humiliation, the level of shame. And the thing is that a lot of parents will use shame to try to discipline their children. Social media, people will try to shame people into becoming better people. And they don't realize that when they're using shame to try to change other people or discipline other people or to change and discipline themselves, you are dealing with something that is just energetic poison. This is bad news. This is something we should not be playing around with. And sadly, a lot of people who are raised in a shameful environment, they've been shamed from an early age, they never really grow out of it. They stay stuck. It's a very unhealthy place to be. And people that match that description, you need to become mindful of it, become aware of it, and try to shift your vibration from shame to a healthy self-love. But it takes practice, it takes time. But yeah, 20 hertz, the realm of shame. Very negative, destructive place to be. 10 hertz above that, in the realm of 30 hertz, that vibration, you've got the realm of guilt. And this level, the emotion is blame. I feel guilty. Maybe I'm blaming myself for something I shouldn't be blaming myself for. Maybe I'm blaming other people for something that I should be taking responsibility for. But it's the energy of guilt, blame, that emotion. The life view here is that life is evil. And the God view, not a very healthy God view. God is vindictive. I am guilty. God is judging me. God is punishing me. No wonder life sucks. And that is the emotion of blame, the realm of guilt. Above that, at 50 hertz, is the realm of despair. Again, not a very healthy place to be, but that's the emotion of apathy. It's like you feel like you're screwed. Nothing you do is going to change anything. You don't have the power to make positive change in your life. So you just take it, you don't care. It's like nothing I do is going to matter anyway. So why even try? And the life view here is one of hopelessness. The God view here is one that God is condemning. So yeah, so far on these negative spiritual states, you've got the God view of God is despising, God is vindictive, God is condemning. I mean, pretty much Old Testament kind of stuff here to take a biblical look at it, and not a very life-affirming way of going through this life. Instead, it's a very soul-sucking way to go through this life. But that takes us up to 50, the vibratory energy of 50 hertz, which is the realm of despair. Next, you've got 75 hertz, which is the realm of grief. And here, the emotion is regret. The life view is that life is tragic. The God view is that God is disdainful. Life is tragic. God disdains us. Why even go on? That's the world of grief. 100 hertz takes us into the realm of fear. And this is a big one in our world today. This is how social media tries to manipulate us, how religions will try to manipulate us, how governments will try to manipulate us. Be afraid, be very afraid. This is the emotional level of 100 hertz. And this is the feeling, the emotional feeling of anxiety. I'm afraid, I'm outnumbered, I can be hurt by these many other people that I am separated from. Everybody's out to get me. The universe is a bad, nasty place. And I mean, yeah, everybody's out to get me. Anxiety. And I mean, people can use this to control and manipulate other people. Governments do it to manipulate their people. Religions will do it to manipulate their people. It's a very popular one in media too. Media, social media, professional media. They'll be using fear to try to get more clicks, get more views, get more outrage, get people to spend more time on the site. It's a very powerful tool for manipulation. And it's a very destructive emotion too. It's another soul-sucking emotion. When you are at that level of fear, life is frightening. And the God view is that God is punishing. So again, this is not the kind of stuff that makes you want to jump up, click your heels, and shout hallelujah. This is the kind of stuff that makes you want to hide under a rock and not have anything to do with that God person. Because, yeah, God must be very sick if we see him as being punishing. And if we see ourselves as living in a world that is fear-based, yeah, that's not a healthy place to be either. So, yeah, 100 hertz, the realm of fear. The next highest level, 125 hertz. This is the realm of desire. The feeling here is craving. Can also be the area of addiction. People want pleasure. So far we've been talking about all the bad things. Shame, guilt, despair, grief, fear. My God, there's got to be some pleasure out there, right? Well, that leads us to desire. People want to find pleasure in life. They want to escape from life. They want drugs, sex, and rock and roll. All the good stuff. You don't got love. You got fear. So what's the next best thing? Drugs, sex, rock and roll, baby. Yeah. And so this leads into craving. This leads into addictions and addictive behavior. And I mean, this is another soul-sucking place to get stuck at in our human consciousness. And when we're talking about desire, the emotion is craving, addiction, wanting more and more and more, and then getting to that point where too much is never enough. We're never satisfied. We're never happy. The life view here, disappointment. Just constant disappointment. We think if I get that one new thing, if I get that new fix, that new material thing in my life, I'm going to be happy. And you get there, you're still not happy. And you get to that point where too much is never enough. And you're just constantly setting yourself up for disappointment. And the God view here is denial. God is denying you what you need. You've got a God-shaped hole in your heart, and you can't fill it with anything else. And so, yeah, God is just complete denial. Where do you go? Where do you go? Well, you go up to the next higher state, hopefully. And that next higher state, not much help, but it's a little higher state, 150 hertz, this is the realm of anger. And people will go through this. They'll go through grief, they'll go through addiction, they'll try to get into recovery, and they will just get into this state of anger. And the feeling that we feel, the emotion here is hate. Anger, hatred. Again, not very positive emotions. Soul-sucking emotions. Sometimes they can make us feel better, but I mean, it's not a very healthy place to be. It's definitely not a healthy place to spend the rest of our life. The life view here is one of antagonism. Life is antagonistic. Life is a battle. Life is a war. Life is a struggle. And the God view here is that God is vengeance. God is vengeful. So again, we're talking about real Old Testament stuff here when it comes to the God view. And when it comes to the life view and our own emotional state, very soul-sucking mindsets here. The next highest level, the next higher level up, 175 hertz. We're still in the negative toxic zone of vibratory frequencies of human consciousness and human emotion, but this is as high as it gets until we break into more positive zones. And this is the realm of pride. And this is the feeling of scorn, feeling of pride, feeling of scorn, the feeling that I am better than you. My church is better than your church. my country is better than my country, better than your country. And so, yeah, it's a feeling of pride, arrogance, scorn. The life view here is that life is demanding. This is no place for wimps. You know, it's a dog eat dog world out there. Life demands that you be the biggest dog so that you can survive while other little dogs get eaten. And so, yeah, a very negative worldview. And the God view isn't much better. Here, God is seen as being indifferent. It's a cruel, cold, dog eat dog world. God doesn't care. God is out there in his heavens. We're stuck here on earth. We're one dog butchering another, and we do what we have to do to survive and make things work. And that's the realm of pride, the feeling of scorn, feeling of just complete, total abandonment by God in the God view. And unfortunately, that's as good as it gets for a lot of people in this planet. They may raise up slightly from 175 to 200 hertz in their emotions, but I mean, for the most part, they're stuck in those lower emotions of shame, guilt, despair, grief, fear, desire, hate, anger, and then finally pride. And we wonder why the world is a screwed up mess, because it's made up of human beings that are at these screwed up levels of consciousness. And they don't know it. It's not their fault. Nobody's told them yet, besides David R. Hawkins, Wayne Dyer, and myself right now, and maybe a few other people on YouTube. Very few people talk about this stuff. And a lot of times people will say, okay, raise your vibration. What exactly does that mean? Well, it means changing your emotion. And people will do the best that they can do using the tools that they have. And if they're vibrating at the frequencies of 20 to 175, frequencies of shame to pride, folks are just trying to do the best that they can at those lower vibratory frequencies. And that's the bad news, that people get stuck in these lower levels of vibration. They don't know it. They're not aware of it. And so some very otherwise good people are out there doing bad, terrible, dangerous things, both to themselves and to other people, both to themselves, to their families, to their children, and to other people. Now, the good news is we can raise ourselves above that. And the further good news is that most people don't stay stuck at that level of 175 or lower. They have the ability to move up to the higher level, which is about average in our world today, of 200 hertz. This is the realm of courage. And this is the first level of the positive, life-affirming emotions that we can focus on. This is where we go from soul-sucking to life-affirming. This is where we go from the bad news to the good news. And here, at the realm of courage, 200 hertz, the emotion that we feel is one of affirmation. You're affirming yourself. You're saying to yourself, I'm not staying stuck in fear, in pride, in grief, in shame. I have the courage to face the world. I'm moving on. I'm going to try to change myself. I may not feel like I stand a chance in hell of doing it, but by God, I'm going to try it, and there is hope. I have the courage to face my troubles. I have the courage to face life, and I am going to do it. The world view here is a very, not really very positive, but it's more positive than the world view that we've been seeing so far. The world view here is that life is possible. Life is feasible. We have the ability to face down our troubles and move ahead with that courage. And the God view here is a little more positive too. The God view here at this level of consciousness is that God is permitting. God is no longer judging us. God is no longer trying to keep us down. God is no longer ashamed of us. God is no longer wrathful. Instead, God is permitting us. We want to change our life. We want to change our world. God says, it's your baby. You go ahead. I'm not standing in your way. Not helping either, but I'm not standing in your way. So yeah, that's the worldview of courage, where you have that perception that life is affirming. It's a struggle, but you can win it. You've got a chance. Life is possible. Life is feasible. And God is saying, go for it. Go for it. I'm not going to stand in your way. And that is the level of courage. Now, the next level up from that, a level that not very few, but I will say fewer people make than not, is the level of 250 hertz, the level of trust. Fewer people reach this level, but this is the emotional level of neutrality. This is where you view life as being neither good nor evil, not good or bad. It's neutral. And your worldview at this point is that life is okay. The world isn't a dog-eat-dog world. It's not heaven on earth either. It's just, it's okay. And the God view at this point, this level of 250 hertz, this level of trust, the God view is that God enables us. So now we've gone from the lower frequencies, the God view of the lower frequencies where God is despising, vindictive, disdainful, jealous, wrathful, vengeful, all those things, to the frequency where we believe God is just kind of staying out of our way and letting us do what we need to do. Now we feel that we're on a level where God is actually going to help us. And we're trusting in that divine help. May not be much, maybe all the help that we need, but at least now we've opened the door consciously to enter into a world where we can now begin to expect some type of divine help and divine assistance. And we're trusting in the universe that things are going to work out okay. 250 hertz, the realm and emotion of trust and just letting things happen. The next highest level, 310 hertz. This is a realm of willingness, and this is the emotion of optimism. You're no longer cynical. You have a little optimism. You have a little bit of hope. The worldview here is that life is hopeful. There is hope. The God view here, God inspires. People can read the Bible, not to beat themselves up with it, not to beat other people up with it, but to find hope, to find inspiration. And now, we've gone to a higher God level, where we now feel we are of a state of consciousness where we open the door to God being a teacher, God being a mentor, God inspiring us to be better human beings, to do a better job in this world. A much better place to be. Now the next highest level up. Again, we're not talking about soul-sucking levels of consciousness anymore. We're talking about life-affirming levels of consciousness. We're also, sadly, talking about levels of consciousness that most people do not experience in this life, but they are open to people once they realize that they are there. But the next level up, 350 hertz, this is the life-affirming level of acceptance. The feeling here is forgiveness. I accept what has happened to me. I may not like it, but you know what? I'm going to let go of it. I'm going to forgive. If I have hurt other people, I forgive myself. If other people have hurt me, I let that go. I forgive them. And a lot of people may be stuck, in anger, in pain, and they feel like, I don't want to forgive that person. I don't want to forgive that bastard, That I got hurt bad on that deal. I'm not letting them off the hook through forgiveness. But the thing is, when we reach this spiritual level of acceptance and forgiveness, we begin to realize we're not forgiving other people to let them off the hook. We are forgiving other people to let ourselves off the hook. So we no longer have to carry that spiritual poison of anger and grief and fear and all that negative baggage. We can forgive, we can let it go, we can move on. That's the level of acceptance, the feeling of forgiveness, where you embrace forgiveness as a way to heal yourself and to move on. The life view of this, once this is adopted, once this is embraced, the life view here is that life can be harmonious. Life can be good again. And the God view, God is merciful. And that's a very beautiful place to be. This is where healing can begin in our lives. When we reach this level, 350 hertz, the vibration, the emotion of forgiveness. The next highest level up, 400 hertz. This is where we kind of get stuck in our brain maybe a little bit. But this is the realm of reason, and this is the emotion of understanding. This is where we're looking at the world from a higher point of understanding, higher point of consciousness. We're not looking at the world through the lens of emotion anymore. We're beginning to make sense out of it. We're understanding it. We're coming to a sense of clarity. Where before we were just a baggage of negative emotions, now we're seeing things more as they are. We're getting clarity on our own life and the world around us. And yeah, it's understanding is the emotion. The life view here is that life has meaning. A lot of people, when they're stuck at the lower emotional states, life is hopeless, life is meaningless. Why even go on? But now, the level of reason, life has meaning. We've come to realize life can begin again. And the God view here is that God is wise. And we begin to reach out to a power greater than ourselves so that we can heal by attaining this spiritual wisdom, this source of spiritual wisdom. Now, the next highest level. Now, a lot of people think that this is the highest level of all, but it's not. It's a good level, though. It's a very good level. 500 hertz is the frequency. Love is the level. And the feeling, the emotion, is the emotion of love, the emotion of reverence, deep reverence for yourself, self-love, for people around you, love of others, love of the world, love of nature. This is like the Christians call this agape love, the unconditional love of God. Buddhists call this metta, the unconditional love of God, the universe, nature, however you want to call it. Very similar to agape. But yeah, this is the area of love. And the life view here is that life is gentle. Life can be affirming. Life is not bad. It's okay. It's good. It's gentle. And yeah, we can be gentle, loving people. The world can actually be a gentle, loving place. And the God view here is that God himself, herself, itself, God is love. And this is a spiritual state very few people attain. And I've heard in church leadership, in church ministry, I've heard church leaders saying that, the Bible passage, God is love, is highly overrated. And I was a minister in a brick and mortar Christian church for 6 years. Used to love to talk about love. I thought this was what we needed more of in that church. And I got openly criticized by a number of people because I talked about love just too much. They wanted to hear more about the wrath of God, the vengeance of God, sticking it to other people. They were stuck at those lower levels of frequency, lower emotional levels. Very few people in churches, in church leadership, very few people in life in general reach this level of love. But once you get there, life can become a beautiful place. The world becomes a beautiful place. And you operate from this level of love. The feeling can be, being blessed, being gratitude. It's a great place to be. Sadly, very few people reach it, but we can all aspire to it. We just have to make the decision. I'm going to take that negative emotional baggage. I'm going to leave it in the past. I'm going to try to raise my vibration, and I'm going to go for love. And one way you can do this is a simple spiritual discipline you can try every morning. When you wake up, do what the Buddhists call metta meditation, or just meditate on love. Just sit down before you turn on social media, before you turn on the computer, before you turn on TV, as your feet hit the floor, before you even go get your cup of coffee. Sit down and close your eyes and meditate for 20 minutes. And just focus on pretending like you're holding a small cat or you're holding a small child. And focus on the love that experience brings to you. Experience it in your imagination. Experience it in your mind. And focus on raising that level of love in your heart. Do that for 20 minutes every day before you start the rest of your day. And get yourself started out at a higher vibratory pattern that most people just completely don't even know about. But that's a frequency of 500 hertz, the level of love, the feeling of love and reverence. Next highest level up, level of joy, talking 540 hertz. This is a feeling of gratitude, feeling of serenity, feeling of joy. The life view here is that life is complete. The God view here, all is one. Union, unity with the divine. Everything's connected. Next highest level up from that, 600 hertz. This is the realm of peace. And this is the feeling of bliss. Life view here is that life is perfect. The God view here, God is all being. And then finally, the highest spiritual state and human emotion in human consciousness, a level that practically nobody hits in this life and stays at. Very few people will attain this level and remain at this level. But this is the level of 700 to 1000 hertz. This is the level of enlightenment. The feeling here cannot be put into words. It's ineffable. The worldview here is that life is. Life is eternal. Life is a never-ending cycle, and that's good. The God view here is that God is yourself. God is one with you. As Jesus said, I and the Father are one. Just a complete feeling of unity between you, your brothers and sisters, the cosmos, the God of your understanding. This is total enlightenment. And this is a realm few people attain. Most people, sadly, will stay stuck anywhere from 20 hertz, the emotion of shame, to about 200 hertz, the more positive emotion of courage. And we will feel a variety of these emotions as we go through our day. This is the challenge. You don't hit that perfect level of love and stay there for the rest of the freaking day. People will do something that will upset you. Something will happen that will make you mad, make you angry. And the thing is that when you become aware of these emotions, when you become mindful of these emotions, and you become aware that you've shifted from love to just being angry for some reason. I'll do this when the computer acts up, when the camera acts up, when the internet connection goes down, I'm in the middle of something, I can get really angry. And then I catch myself and I think, okay, I went from love and gratitude to anger. How funny is that? And I laugh at myself. I say, how ignorant I was to shift from love to anger. And then I just take a line out of the old Laura Croft movie, My Ignorance Amuses Me. And I let that lift myself up. From anger to joy. My ignorance amuses me. That guy in that movie was actually pretty wise. He was a villain. He was a bad guy. He's also a pretty wise bad guy. But yeah, you can choose to change your vibration by just becoming aware when you get stuck in a lower emotional state, like shame. That's destructive. Choose love instead. I'm not going to shame myself anymore. I'm not going to shame other people anymore. I'm going to choose love instead. When you find yourself operating at fear, and yeah, the media loves to keep us in a fear-based state of consciousness. Organized religions love to keep us in a fear-based state of consciousness. Don't fall for the bait. Don't fall into the trap. Change your frequency, change your emotion from one of fear and trembling to one of love. There's a saying in Scripture, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but it's not the end of wisdom. The end of wisdom is actually love, the love of God. And so when you find yourself in a state of fear, shift to a state of love, a feeling of love. And it takes some work in the beginning. Nobody's going to be 100% perfect in this practice in the beginning, but over time, give it a few months, give it a few years. There are some of us in the spiritual community that have been working on raising our vibration and changing our emotional states for a very, very long period of time. Be patient with yourself, enjoy the journey. But yeah, when you get stuck, you feel like you're stuck in a negative state, find the next level up that you want to hit. Focus on that feeling, focus on that emotion. Raise your emotion and raise your vibration, because yeah, these emotions carry with them these different vibratory frequencies. And when you're stuck in the vibration of hate, that's anger, that's emotion, that's a weakening state. Focus on forgiveness, focus on love, focus on the higher states. And then over time, you can gradually move from being stuck at maybe a 200 level to maybe more of a 300 level. Humanity as a whole, I was doing some reading on this before the video, used to be that we used to be stuck below the 200 on average. And now in the 21st century, I'm not exactly sure when this shift happened, if it happened late 20th century or early 21st century, but we're now at a level where the average person is vibrating around 200, frequency of courage. Before that, it was about 175 was about tops. So we are making progress. But you don't have to be average when we're talking about these emotional states. Yeah, the average person will be stuck at about 200, will plateau there, go no further. They may go further, but then fall back. You don't have to be average. You can set your sights on the higher spiritual states. As Paul says in the book of Corinthians, focus on the higher spiritual gifts, and the greatest of these is love. Focus on those higher emotional states, those higher states of consciousness, and choose to move beyond where the average person is at. And that will open up a whole new chapter in your life, a whole new hope for, hope for the world, hope for yourself. Make yourself a better person to be around, far more positive person to be around, and it'll change your life from a perspective where, life is just miserable, life is frustrating, to life is good. Life is hopeful. Life is great. God is good. God is love. Allow yourself to go on that journey from shame to anger to love and beyond. And you can do it just by focusing on raising your vibration. And a good tool that you can use is simple meditation. Start your day off, meditation, focus on love. If you become aware that there are some people in your life that you need to forgive, focus on forgiveness. If you become aware that you need to forgive yourself, meditate on forgiveness. And spend about 20 minutes in the morning on meditation. You may want to do another 20 minutes in the afternoon. You may want to do another 20 minutes at night. As you get more skilled in the practice of meditation, you may want to increase your length of time. Go from 20 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour. Everybody's different. Everybody is going to do things their own way. I mean, meditation is a powerful tool to use in your spiritual growth and transformation. And if in the beginning you can't even do 20 minutes of meditation, focus on 5, focus on 10. Do what is possible for you, and then build from there. But it's absolutely essential when you start your day early in the morning. Don't just turn on social media. Don't just turn on the mass media poop show out there, because they're just going to be feeding you fear, anger, hate, all that stuff. Focus on raising your vibration in a more positive way through meditation. And before you turn on any electronic device, focus on your own frequency, your own energy, and try to get yourself going at those higher spiritual states. And then when you've done that, start your day in a more positive way. And then as you go through your day, when something happens, you get knocked from feeling of peace, love, and serenity to just one of absolute anger, maybe rage, maybe shame. Raise your energy. Change that emotion. You can change that channel. Focus on the higher frequencies and let those lower ones go. When you become aware that you've been at a lower state, don't punish yourself. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just laugh at yourself and move on. My ignorance amuses me. It's a great line that you can use on yourself. And be grateful to the universe that, yes, you had this experience of getting knocked down in your vibration, in your emotion. You've learned from it. Now you've raised your vibration, you've raised your emotion. Be grateful to the universe, the God of your understanding, that you were given the opportunity to learn this neat new trick. And with time, with practice, you can shift your emotions. You can shift your frequencies a lot more quickly, a lot more effortlessly. In the beginning, it'll be kind of like pulling teeth. But as you become more practiced in it, more skilled in it, as you practice meditation more and more, you will get to the point where you can shift your frequency flawlessly. And it can become a very painless process, and it can become a very exciting process of spiritual growth. So yeah, when people say, change your frequency, lift your vibration, well, that's what they mean. Talking about raising your emotion. If you're stuck in a lower emotional field, go for the higher emotions. You don't have to be stuck in those lower vibratory states. You can change. You can ascend. You can be desiring those higher spiritual gifts. And you can most definitely go for that higher energy of love. Don't let yourself stay stuck in fear-based, shame-based life. Go for love and beyond. Ralph signing out. Have a great day. Talk soon. Bye-bye.